next one of the 13 principles of faith is the fourth principle. Ani mamin, I believe, be'emunah shlema, with complete faith, shehabayre yisbarach shemay, that the Creator, blessed is He, hu rishayin v'hu achrayin, He's the first and the last. When I was a kid, back in the 1840s, we used to have you get in line for school, or your teacher says, everyone line up, we're going here, we're going there, and we used to have a little chant that we used to sing. First is the worst, second is the best, third, I don't remember what third was. Now, when we say Hashem is the first and the last, last is a rotten apple, I think that's what it was. So we're not trying to say that Hashem is the first and He's the last, so He's not the rotten apple. That's not what we're trying to say. There obviously is something much more important, much more essential that we're trying to understand about Hashem in the world. Not only that, but it doesn't mean when we say He's the last, it doesn't mean like He's the last of the Mohicans, the last of the ones standing in the world is Hashem. He made it, He survived, He's got a big t-shirt. I survived the world. I'm the last one. There's no survivor show for Hashem. So what does it mean He's the first and the last? In order to understand this, we're going to go back to something we've spoken about before, which is the word Ratzain. The word Ratzain, desire, will. Hashem is the will of the world. What that means is Hashem wants the world to exist. We said that the word Ratzain, will, has the same numerical value, the same gematria as the word Mekar, the source. Interestingly, the word source and the word first are the same thing, because if you're the source, then you're the first. That's brilliant. Maybe we should stop there. What that means is that Hashem is the source for everything. Hashem's will is the source for everything. Whatever exists in this world is only here because Hashem wants it to be here. And if He didn't want it to be here, then it wouldn't be here. So if we're here, that's because we're wanted. You know what they say the difference between in-laws and outlaws is? Outlaws are wanted. I hope my mother-in-law is not watching. What it means when we say that we are wanted, the world is wanted, is that Hashem creates, He gives existence to things by wanting it there. Let's try to understand something. This is a mashal, but there's a lot of depth to it. If you create an image in your mind, like a dream, you have a dream. I had a dream. You have a dream, and in your dream, you see somebody, God forbid, standing over you with a knife or a chainsaw, and he's about to stab. Now you are sweating in your sleep. You're screaming. Your wife hears you screaming. Your kids hear you screaming. It's so real. The image is there. It's almost physical. But the second you wake up, the second you open your eyes, poof, it's gone. Not only is it gone, but it was never there. So think about what happened for a second. What happened is that your mind, you're wanting, in a certain sense, I don't mean your desire to see it, but your mindset, what your mind frame had you picture was a 100% reality, but it only existed because your mind frame was dreaming. But the second you stop, it's gone. So as long as you keep dreaming, it's going to be there. The second you stop, it's going to not be there anymore. So that is called, and this is something we say in the prayers on Rosh Hashanah, kachaloim ya'uf, like a fleeting dream. Hashem, in a certain sense, and again, everything we need to understand in clarity, and I'm trying as much as I can, but the world that Hashem created is here because He wants it to be. That is presently His mind frame for it to exist. But its reality could stop existing the second that mind frame stops. It will evaporate. It's gone. As long as Hashem wills it to be here, it's here. That's called Ratzon. If Hashem wants it to be here, it will be here. If Hashem stops, kachaloim ya'of, It's like a fleeting dream. It's over. And really, it maybe never existed. We are all part of that. We are all in that. We are part of Hashem's Ratzain. The will, the desire to see us and to see the world as it is now, that is Hashem's Ratzain. And that is the source for everything that exists. And again, I'm going to use a terminology that's cheap, but Hashem's mindset, Hashem's frame of mind right now is that that's what the world should be, with me here and you there and this desk here. But if God would will it that it shouldn't be, if this desk Hashem would not want it to be here, or that I shouldn't be here, then I wouldn't, and you wouldn't. So what that means is that the source, the makar for everything is Ratzain, is Hashem's willing it to be. But once you get that word Ratzain, will, desire, there's a consequence to that word. That means if Hashem wants it to exist, then obviously He wants it for a reason. He expects something from it. He wants it to achieve something. That Ratzain is with an expectation. You don't just make things and then say, all right, whatever, I made it, I'm out, I got more projects. No. That Ratzain is the beginning, but it's also the end. That Ratzain is Hashem is the Rishon, but also the Achron, the last. What that means is that ultimately, from everything that Hashem wants now, desires to be here, obviously He desires it to be in a certain form, in a certain fashion. So whatever we have in the world around us, whatever our existence includes, we need to look at it and assume that there's something here for it and for me to accomplish with it. Perhaps one way, if it's money, perhaps it's for me to support myself, to give to charity. If it's a friend, for me to love and to help. But there's something for everybody and everything. But there's more. When we say Hashem is the Rishon, the beginning, the first, and He's the Achron, what that also tells us is that the consequence, the final climax of what that desire from Hashem, what the will of God is, you want to know what the final, the last chapter, not the last thing standing. Do you know what the ultimate goal for everything in the world is? Hashem. B'yomahu yihyeh, on that day will be Hashem Echad, He will be one, Ushmai Echad, and His name will be one. What that means is that the entire world will unite completely, heart, body, and soul, with the oneness of Hashem, with the kingdom of Hashem, and in essence, we will all be one huge part of God, of godliness in the world. So when we say Hashem is the Rishon, we mean He's the source, the Ratzain, the will that gives everything the ability to exist. But we also say He's the Achron. He is the final. Hashem alone is the climax of this world and what is meant for it. The great achievement, the big accomplishment that the Ratzain of Hashem, that the will of Hashem wishes for this world, the big desire, the reason for everything is, the hope, the aspiration, Hashem Echad, Ushmai Echad. He alone will be one, and we will all unite, we will all be part of that oneness. So, when we say in this Ani Maamin, I believe that Hashem is the Rishon, we mean He is the first, He is the source, His will, His Ratzain, gives everything its existence, but that will has a consequence. That will has a price to pay. And we're here to pay the price, not to pay for it, to build it, to make it better, to create a reality that is called Hashem Echad Ushmai Echad. That's called Kiddush Hashem. The more that I can help, or to use my talents or my abilities to bring out the oneness of Hashem in the world, to point to everything that exists and say, this is Hashem, this is Hashem. The more that me and you as humans have the ability to accept the Malchus Shamayim, to accept the yoke of Hashem's kingdom, of Hashem's oneness on ourselves, then what we're doing is we're uniting with that goal. We are accomplishing Hashem's aspiration for this world, which is to be Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad. The more things that you could perceive in the world as relating and coming from the source, from the Ratzain, you are being a Mekadesh Shem Shemaim. You are making the world be the world that Hashem wanted it to be. So, if there's any way that you could turn to everything that exists and say, Hashem, I know you're here. Hashem, I know you're here. You created this. You want me to do this. I pray to you, I serve you because you're in charge. That's being part of the great will of Hashem, Hashem Echad. The words mi bara Elah. Mi bara Elah is a pasuk in Tehillim in Psalms. Who created this? This is what, in essence, Avraham Avinu, Abraham, our forefather, said when he looked at the world and he said, who created this? Where did this all come from? And he came to the reality that it's from God. Mi, Mem Yud, and Elah, these, meaning the ability to look at all these, all the plurals, all the many wondrous things that exist, the billions and trillions of different creations and species in the world, to look at all of these Elah and say, me, who did it? Who made it? Who wanted something from it? That creates the me and the Elah, Elokim. Together, they become Elah. Me, you switch around the letters, is Elokim, God. If you want to be able to make the oneness of Hashem, who levada Elokeinu, He alone is Hashem. B'yaymahu yi Hashem echad u'shmo echad. When the entire world will recognize in every facet of creation, in every part of the world that exists in front of us and not in front of us, that it's all from Hashem Echad, that will be Hashem is the Rishon, the beginning, the source, V'hu Achrein, and He's the final climax, the ultimate hope, the ultimate dream. His dream for the world is that the entire world will recognize Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad, the Elokim, the God of Mi Bara Elav, who created this.